I'm Dave Fio, and I'm a singer-songwriter out of Michigan.
She's looking for a savior, but I'm no Superman. She's looking for a savior, but I'm not him.
I started making music by it being my party trick, singing when I was drinking with friends, and somebody, my buddy Joey, he was, in the music scene. He heard me sing at one of the parties, and he's like, bro, you gotta take this seriously. So I went to the studio, and everyone at the studio went nuts. I've found it as like a diary that I, like a therapy and a diary that I never knew I needed. I always thought kind of like, I don't need to express myself like this emotionally, And then once I started doing it and getting these thoughts out and these feelings that I had pent up, I'm like, this is great. The people who are hearing my music are taking something away from it. And so that kind of came the new mission from, in the beginning, it being attention-based. It became more people are relating with me and taking away that feeling of like dealing with things alone, The difference to me from, performing on stage to performing in the studio is very vulnerable for me. I like to go in, if there's a window, I like to close the curtains, and I like to be in there alone with my eyes closed, and if I shed a tear or something, I don't feel judged, I don't feel nothing, I just feel fine in there, I feel comfortable, I feel safe. And when I perform those songs on stage, that's where I kind of, as an artist, and as many artists are, it's kind of where I get my ego fix. People scream my name and they cheer and they love the music, and that's where I get that fix. And the crowd in turn gets to, hear those things that I was, saying when I was vulnerable. What got me into writing initially was that I was freestyling a lot, and I was good at coming up with things off the dome quickly that sounded good and had good rhyme scheme and very rhythmic, and they were good. But eventually I started, through doing that for a couple months and quitting my job, so I'm so invested in being in the studio, after you do that for a few months, you start saying the same things, saying same words over and over again, or telling the same story. And so I was kind of like, okay, I need to get deeper here, and I need to think, and I need to make these songs like a journal entry, you know what I mean? And I started writing, and then my songs just started advancing, just getting better tenfold every time. My mission with music, obviously, you got your dreams and aspirations side, and you have your business sides, and you obviously want them both to rise. But I think the things that motivate me would definitely be how many people can I affect directly with these songs. The things I'm feeling, how many people can relate to that and think, man, I'm not alone. Because them letting me share it is a blessing, because that's what makes me feel not alone. Some changes I'd like to see in the music industry would be transparency. I think you get a lot of people trying to exploit ignorance. And to me, that is just filthy, awful. And I've been the victim of it. I've seen people be a victim of it worse than I could ever imagine. I've seen people get a better end of it, it's wrong, man. It definitely needs to be changed. I would love to see a let's grow together mindset, start coming in and not how can I get richer off of your product, because it is art, and it's your art. My message that I'm always trying to convey is always truth, always. So whether that be the truth of pain, or the truth of hope, or the truth of belief, or, of faith, not religion necessarily, but faith, I will always convey my truth. It's cutthroat sometimes, and it's deep, and sometimes it's sad, and sometimes it's really happy, but it will always be truth, and when I sing my truth, you get sometimes things about God, and sometimes you get things about heartbreak, and sometimes you get things about love, and through my writing process, I try to give the utmost of that emotion, so a lot of these lyrics turn out deep.
Oh, bad bad man would fight. A bad man would steal your heart. A bad man would look you in your eyes, tell you a lie, and head out into the dark. So love